Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagno. Brahmagno, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantarbam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantarbam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. This verse we had been discussing in our last meeting about the sacrifice, and there are different types of sacrifice recommended according to the different classes of men. There are generally three classes of human beings. Those who are under the influence of the modes of goodness, and those who are under the modes of passion. Right. And those who are under the modes of ignorance. The whole Vedic scriptures, they are also divided into three divisions according to these modes of material nature. There are 18 Puranas. Puranas means supplementary to the Vedas. The Vedas, they are written in a very difficult language. But in order to explain them to the ordinary persons, there are Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana. Disturbing. The Vedic principle is described according to these modes of material nature. There are 18 Puranas. Out of that, 6 Puranas are in the modes of goodness, and the 6 Puranas are in the modes of passion, and 6 Puranas are in the modes of ignorance. So, there are different varieties of sacrifices according to the different class of men. The whole idea of Vedic literature is to give chance to every human being to develop a spiritual consciousness under certain rules and regulations. So what is applicable to the persons who are in the modes of ignorance, they are not applicable to the persons who are in the modes of goodness. Or those who are in the modes of passion, they are not applicable to the modes of goodness. The gradual process of evolution. Now, just like there are recommendations of animal sacrifice, there are many different kinds of sacrifice. There is recommendation of animal sacrifice also in the Vedic literature. And what is that? That is a sort of restriction to the animal eaters. Indirectly, it is restriction, but it is sanctioned also by sacrifice in the Vedas. Just like the Vedic principle says that if you want to eat flesh, don't eat flesh and which is not offered in the sacrifice. Which is not offered in the sacrifice. Now, those who have been in India, perhaps you have seen the goddess Kali. The goddess Kali, before the goddess Kali, a goat sacrifice is offered. But the Vedic principle says that if you want to take flesh, then you must sacrifice the goat before the goddess Kali, and then you can take. And that prescription is also very difficult, because on the dark moon night, the goat has to be sacrificed, and there are so many paraphernalia, and the mantra, the hymns chanted there, the goat is, to whisper within the ear that the man who is sacrificing you, he will be responsible for your life, and for yourself you are going to get the next life as human being without waiting for the evolutionary process. The animals, that there is an evolutionary process that is accepted in Darwin's theory also, anthropomorphism, and what is that? And anthropology, yes, not anthropomorphism. Anthropology. Anthropology, there is evolutionary process, so that is accepted in the Vedic literature also. So the animal which is sacrificed, he gets immediately his evolutionary process developed, promoted to from animal life to human life. But the man who is offering that sacrifice, he becomes responsible. These are therefore, there are so many hymns in the Vedic literature. The whole idea is that by offering such sacrifice, the man is restricted from flesh eating. Similarly, there are many kinds of sacrifices. They are described here. I think those descriptions may not be very elaborately described, but I give you the idea. Devameva pare jaggang yogina paripasate brahmagnava pare jaggang jagge naiva upajuhati sutradin indrani अन्ने संजवाग्नेषु जुभति शब्दादीन विषयानन्न इंद्रियाग्नेषु जुभति जगद्दान तपक्रिया नताज्यम कर्तव्यम. This is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, that jagga, sacrifice, charity, dana, jagga, dana, and tapa. Tapa means penance. Now, there are 4 divisions of human society according to Vedic literature. The brahmachari, the grihastha, the vanaprastha, and the sannyas. The brahmachari means the student life, more or less, student life. And grihastha means those who are leading family life after the student life. And vanaprastha means retired life. And the sannyas means renounced order. They have no connection with worldly activities. So these are 4 different stages of human social orders. Now, the brahmachari, they are meant for sacrifice. The students are recommended to sacrifice, especially to sacrifice sense gratification. The students are, formerly, they were in the Guru Griha, spiritual master's place, and they had to undergo severe types of regulations. So, the brahmachari is expected to go to every householder and beg. There was no system of schooling, there was no system for payment. The spiritual master, the teacher, he did not accept any payment in pound shilling pence. That was not accepted. because mostly the Brahmins, they used to become the teacher. So they were not accepting any salary. The Brahmins are forbidden to accept any service. So the education was free. To every student, education was free. And village to village, education was so. In former days, even 50 years before, I have seen in villages there were some small school, and all the village boys, they were coming and they were taking education. So education was very much widespread because education was free in this way. So students were meant to go for begging alms for the teacher. These are some of the the regulative principles. Now, that is sacrifice. They sacrifice their labor for the spiritual master, for the teacher. And whatever they got, they surrender to the teacher. And it is said that after cooking, if the teacher asks the student, my dear boy, you come and take your meals, then he will take. Otherwise, if the teacher forgets to call him one day for his meals, then he should not go and ask the teacher that, sir, I am not taking my food, give me my food. Rather, he should starve. So much penance, so much civility. These are called sacrifices. So student life is meant for sacrifice. They should undergo training under severe regulations and penances so that life may be built up for future hope and future spiritual realization. Then the sacrifice is meant for the student life. Similarly, the family life, those are Jagat Dana. Dana means charity. The Grihastha, those who are living in family life with wife and children, they are expected to give in charity as much as possible. That is also sacrifice. Suppose you are earning $1,000 in a month. So according to Vedic instruction, you should give in charity 50% of your income. $500 you should give in charity. And 25% you should spend for your family, and 25% as you are a family man, you may have it as bank balance so that in case of emergency you may require it. This is the prescription. Suppose you are earning $1,000 a month, you should give in charity for God's service 50%, and 25% you should spend for your family dependence, and 25% you may have in a bank balance so that this is the problem. So Jagat Dana, this is also sacrifice. Sacrifice. So Jagat Dana and Tapa. Tapa means penance. So the students are meant for sacrifice, and the Grihasthas, the householders, are meant for giving in charity. And so far we are concerned, just like sannyasi, we are meant for tapasya, penance. We should undergo all kinds of difficulties for spreading the knowledge that we have acquired. That is the process of sannyasi. A sannyasi, a renounced order of man who is in the renounced order of life, his business is that his acquired knowledge, his experienced knowledge should be distributed to the public. So, according to the Varnasam Dharma, the Brahmachari and the Vanaprastha and the sannyas. Now suppose if there are 100 persons in a society, 25% students, 25% retired life, and 25% sannyas, renounced order of life. Now, out of 100 persons, 75% they are engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. The rest 25% who are grihasthas, they are meant for sacrificing 50% of their income for these 75%. That is the whole program of Varnashram Dharma. That is a kind of spiritual communism. Spiritual communism. For spiritual advancement of the society, the whole social order is so arranged that 75% of the people, they are engaged in the matter of spiritual advancement of knowledge, and 25% of the population, those who are earning, those who are in a family life, those who have got factories, business and so many things, they should sacrifice 50% of their income for the 75% persons who are engaged in spiritual emancipation. So that is the whole program. Oh, I am very glad to see. That is the whole program of Varnashram Dharma. Varna and Ashram. Varna means that you have perhaps heard the caste system in India. That is called Varna. That is the caste system which is now going on. That is a vitiated form of caste system. And you have heard in the Bhagavad Gita that Chatur Varnang Maya system Gunakarma Vibhaga. This Varna and Ashram is also creation of the Supreme Lord Krishna. That is not man-made. That is not man-made. So, how that Varnashram is created? Guna Karma Vibhaga. The guna, as I have already told you, that we are being controlled in three qualities or three modes of nature. So, anyone, he must be either under the spell of these three qualities. So, according to the quality and according to the karma, the varnas are there. I have several times explained to you. So, the varna and the ashrama. Ashrama means the brahmachari ashram, the grihastha ashram, the vanaprastha ashram and the sannyasa ashram. Ashram, this very word, indicates that it is spiritual. And perhaps most of you know that ashram means, ashram, this very word means that this place, just like temple or church, there are so many buildings on the Second Avenue. When you see a church or a temple, you at once understand that this building is meant for spiritual understanding. Similarly, when we call ashram, ashram means that and it is a function is meant for spiritual realization. So all the four classes of social order, the brahmachari, the grihastha, and the vanaprastha, and the sannyas, they are called ashram. Ashram means they are meant for a spiritual emancipation. The student is also given instruction so that before entering family life, he gets complete instruction of spiritual life. So that when he enters into family life, he is not just like a cat and dog for sense gratification. They are meant for, although they live with wife and children, they are meant for spiritual emancipation. This is called ashram, grihastha ashram. So that was the idea. The whole program was aiming at spiritual emancipation. Nate vidushartha gatim hi Vishnu. Nati vidushartha gatim hi Vishnu durashayaji bhirarthamanina andha dathandhi rupaniyamana stepi satantra urudam nibaddha. It is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that Prahlad Maharaj, there is statement of Prahlad Maharaj before his father. His father was very much materialistic. So he was explaining to his father, my dear father, Nati vidu sartha gatingi Vishnu. General people, because he was in the materialistic family, his father was a great materialistic, so he is explaining, and he was a great devotee. The son was a great devotee, and the father was a great materialist, and there was a quarrel between father and son. So father questioned, where you have got all this nonsense knowledge of spiritual? So he was explaining, Nate vidu sartha gatingi Vishnu, durasaya je bahiratthamanina. My dear father, these people, these materialistic people, that means men of your nature, they do not know what is their self-interest. Everyone is very busy for fulfilling his self-interest, but actually he does not know what is his self-interest. The self-interest is Vishnu. So go back to Godhead, that is self-interest. Self-realization, self-interest, and so many things. Everything is meant for going back to Godhead. That is self-interest. So Prahlad Maharaj said that because people are very much illusioned by this external energy, the material energy is called external energy. Because people are deluded by this external, by the glamour of this external energy, they have forgotten that their self-interest is Vishnu or the Supreme Personality of God. And they are conducting their life, general process of life, in a manner how na andha gathandhai dupaniyamana, just like one blind man is leading several other blind men. He is a leader. A blind man has become the leader of several other blind men. So what benefit is there? If the man is blind, how can he lead? That because blind, why blind? The andha jathandhi vipaniyamana stay ishatantra urudam nibaddha. Ishatantra means by the laws of God or by the laws of nature, they are bound up tight hand and feet, and they are trying to get free from the control of the nature. So this struggle for existence is going on because they do not know that their self-interest lies in the understanding of his relationship with the Supreme Lord. And that is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhavanam janmanam ante jnanavan maga prapaddati. After many births, when a man is actually in full knowledge, he surrenders unto me, the Lord says. That is the ultimate interest. That is the ultimate knowledge that one should understand his relationship with Vishnu and surrender there. That is Bhavanam Janmanam Ante. After many births, Jnanavan, who has actually acquired knowledge, he surrenders unto me, the Lord says. But Samahatma Sudullava. But such a great soul is very rare. The surrender soul, a man in Krishna consciousness, a man surrendered unto the control of the Supreme Lord is very rare. So these are instructions we get from Vedic literature. And to come to this point, this surrendering process, that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Samahatma Sudullava, to understand that the Supreme Lord is everything. Whatever is manifested before us, the different varieties of energies of the Supreme Lord, that is also stated in Vishnu Purana. Ek एकादेश स्थित शाग्ने ज्योत्स्ना विस्तारिना जथा परस्य ब्रह्मण शक्ति सर्वेदम अखिलम जगत. The Vishnu Puran says that just like fire is situated in one place and distributes its heat and light and illumination from that place, similarly, whatever we are experiencing in this manifested world, they are different energies of the Brahman, Parasa Brahman, Parasa Parabrahma, that means Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is the Father. So, whole process is, sacrifice means that we have to reach to that point. The whole process of sacrifice, either by yoga system or by jnana system or by observing the rules and regulation of the social system, everything is meant for reaching to that point. What is that? Bhavanam Janmanam Ante Jnanavanam, to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, if we are intelligent enough, then we should consider that if I have to do this job after many, many births, I am getting myself to very much experience. And Lord Krishna says that this is the last point of knowledge. Why not accept it immediately? Why not accept immediately? If I have to come to Krishna at the last stage of mature knowledge and surrender unto Him, then why should I wait for many births? Why should I wait for many births? Let me surrender unto me. Just yesterday night, one of our friends inquired that how long it takes time to have complete Krishna consciousness. So I replied that the Krishna consciousness can take place in a second, and it may not take in thousands of years. Because the point is here that after all we have to come to this point that surrender unto Krishna. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Vasudeva means Krishna. Krishna is everything. And therefore I surrender unto Him. Some Mahatma should do it. That person, a great soul, is very rare to be found. Therefore, why not become that great soul immediately by surrender unto Krishna? This is the point. By sacrifice. Sacrifice means we have to come to that point.